How the hell y'all feeling right now?
Yo, this is Never Gallimore from the Dallas Cowboys, and I want to give a major shout out to Mike Tag. Keep bringing the hype to the Cowboys Nation. We love and appreciate it. Now, can you dig it?
What is up, Cowboys Nation? How we doing today? How we doing this afternoon, this Friday? Actually, early evening. It feels like noon to me because your boy slept in till... Well, here's the story. I got out of bed this morning. I knew we were going to have a bad storm last night, and we did. For those of you that don't know, I'm up here in Omaha, Nebraska. We had a bad storm. It dropped probably 7-8 inches overnight. Get up in the morning. I still don't have that call at work is canceled. So I'm like, get my ass out of bed. So I get out of bed about 6:30. Get ready, go outside, get the car ready, off, get it de-iced, frosted. And I got out of the parking lot. I'm on my way. I'm about 5 minutes, maybe about 10 minutes from the house. And I get a call at about 7:15. Work is closed today. I would have been good to know it's 6:30. It would have been good to know it's 6:30, but it wasn't 6:30, so it was a little bit later. But you know what do they always say? Better late than never, right? So I came back, turned around, flipped around, came back to the house, and I took my ass to sleep. Because honestly, I stayed awake a little late last night. I was playing some Madden, and I thought, man, we got bad weather. There's this blowing snow. It's going to be frigid with the wind chills below zero. And I thought, man, there's no way that they're going to have me come to work tomorrow. Certainly, right? But little did I know, they were going to have me come into work for a little bit. They let me know. They let me know. So either way, better late than never. Excuse me. Time to shred some cheese. How about them Cowboys, Raymond? Yeah, Edgar, what's up, Kelly? What's up, Edgar? How's everybody doing? First of all, thank you for everybody tuning in this afternoon. I don't know what everybody's up to right now, but thank you for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, this is your time. If you stumbled upon this Cowboys Cave channel, you didn't stumble onto it by sheer luck. You stumbled onto it by chance. I believe in fate. I believe in destiny. If you stumbled onto the channel, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe. You're going to be pleasantly surprised. Me and my co Mike, along with Jimmy D, along with the fantasy guys, we got some great things going. Uncle Cheech, your Vegas insider. There's so much going on this show, not to mention great player interviews that you're going to get that you won't get anywhere else. Moose Johnston. We got Tony the Thrill Hill coming up. We've had Dave Campo, George T, Charlie Waters, Bob Lilly. The list goes on and on of great Cowboys that we brought into the show. We're going to continue to do so. We'd like to bring you out great content. I think it's great. Some other people might say it's not great. Some people maybe to step it up, but I think it's great content. I'm a little bit biased though. What's up, big dog? Let's make it happen this weekend. And for fun's sake, fact the birds. Fact. Notice YouTube that I the F word. It's fact. HHHK. I read that from one of the people. So Mike, please, by all means, do not holler at your boy and get mad. I got Mike in the corner here, over here. The mirrored camera always gets me. Christopher, hey, Kelly, what's going on, Chris? Reggie Hawkins, what's going on? Go Cowboys. Almost forgot pregame Zoom shot on Sunday or nah. I think I might be trying to get something going on with Zoom. The thing is, I don't have Zoom. I used it last year, but it was somebody else's. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that done on short notice. I would love to. We got somebody that says their name is don't know if I can say that without getting in trouble, but we've got a guy that just entered the chat. Dick Cheese says, "Yo, what is up there, Dick Cheese?" Again, YouTube, this is not me cussing. I don't know if this is the automated things that pick this up. But anyway, listen, like I said, it's a snow day, but I want to talk a little bit of Cowboys football, y'all. I want to talk a little bit of Cowboys football. Before I do that, for all the fine folks that are at home watching, for those of you that might be having to work right now, I've got some salted caramel Crown Royal. Like I said, I had a snow day, so the drinking can start early. We've got the... what is that? One finger? Two fingers? Two fingers? We're going to get a two finger. Now, I don't really know what they mean by two fingers. I think that's supposed to be that. So let's see. I think we might have got three fingers. But that's neither here nor there. It doesn't matter if we got three fingers, four fingers. That's what she said. Let's get into this thing, though, baby. How about them Cowboys? How's everybody feeling right now? How y'all feeling? The media has started up their shtick that they're going to start. And listen, you're going to hear this no matter who the Cowboys play. If the Cowboys, if the Cowboys, when they win this weekend against Green Bay, because they will win. Let me just say that it's not an if, it's when. They will win. They're going to beat Green Bay, and then whoever they place the next round is going to be the next hot team. And then going into the NFC Championship, if they make it to the NFC Championship and they make it past the second round, which I'm not going to say they are, I'm not sit there and jump to conclusions, but I think we got a great chance, probably the best chance that we've had in recent history. That next team will be the hottest team. So you're going to hear that. So you shouldn't be surprised to hear that. Oh, man, that is good whiskey. That is good whiskey. I don't care what anybody says. If you are a whiskey fan and you like to sip whiskey, this is honestly one of my favorites. It's got that little bit of sweet, the salted caramel hint to it. Top notch. The topic, I'm sorry, I'm over here. This team is that team. So the media has already kicked that up. They're talking about hottest. He's one of the hottest quarterbacks coming. Was that a nice season? He's had a nice season, but listen, it's Jordan Love at the end of the day. It's Jordan Love, and I've seen him, and I've seen his arm strength. I've seen some of the things that he excels at. I'm not overly impressed with the footwork. I'm no Jay going to sit there and break it down because I'm not to that of that level where I'm breaking down game tape, but I've seen enough to know that his footwork it's sloppy, especially when he gets pressured. There's a lot of throws off, and they teach you not to do that. Throws off the back foot can result in underthrows. Those result in interceptions. And in a defense like what this Cowboys team has, a very opportunistic defense, that doesn't bode well for a quarterback, a young quarterback playing in a hostile environment in an AT&T stadium. Because let's just face it, it will be a hostile environment. Cowboys Nation has risen to the challenge, should I say, of some of the more diehard fans that can't make it to the game all the time. Vince says, "What's up, Kelly? How's the weather over there?" Man, the weather is frigid, my man. It's like negative 15 wind chill. It's 5 degrees right now. Tomorrow it's going to get even colder. Tomorrow it's actually supposed to be We're not even getting out of zero. The high tomorrow is 0. The high on Sunday is -9 with a negative 25 degree wind chill. It's going to be cold. Now, remember that I only live a few hours away from Kansas City. They got a game to play on Sunday where I'm wondering about how they're going to do. We'll get into that here in a little bit. But anyway, back to the Jordan Love thing. Jordan Love, in my opinion, he gets a little happy feet in the pocket. And I'm not overly concerned about him and what he can do against his defense because I think our defense is really good. I think our defense is really opportunistic. I think we can create pressure with our front four and drop guys into coverage and make things difficult for Jordan Love. Whereas you look at a quarterback like Dak Prescott on the flip side of that coin, and he's been playing really well. I think we can all agree on that. Dak Prescott against the blitz, one of the best in the NFL this season. Dak Prescott, when pressured, he makes good decisions in the pocket. He makes good decisions out of the pocket. Whereas Jordan Love, when you get pressure on him and he is forced to throw out of the pocket or forced to throw on the run, It's towards the bottom of the league. He does not excel at that. And I think that this defense has shown the capability of being able to make all quarterbacks that we've played uncomfortable and get all quarterbacks out of the pocket for the most part. Obviously, when you got a quarterback like when we played Josh Allen, it really didn't phase him much. He was able to get out of the pocket, make plays down the field. He's similar to a Dak Prescott in that aspect. So those are the kind of quarterbacks that kind of give you some pause, but he's not that quarterback. Jordan Love is just not that quarterback in terms of his athleticism, where he excels and where he does that. So you're not really going to worry about Jordan Love throwing on the run or outside of the pocket. Now, I will say he's got a couple 100 yards scrambling. So, scrambling capability, like I think all quarterbacks have a little bit of capability. I think, I think Dak's only got a couple 100 yards as well, but if you talk about mobile quarterbacks, I would say Dak Scott is a little bit more, would be considered more mobile than a Jordan. But I don't know. So I mean, you guys tell me how you're feeling. I'm ready to answer questions, obviously, going into this week. So I want to kind of turn over to you guys. I don't want to hijack the show and then just do a whole lot of talking and flapping my gums. I know how I feel. I'm confident about it. What do you guys got? How are you guys feeling? How are you guys feeling out there in the chat? How are you guys feeling out there in Cowboys Nation about this matchup? Because I feel like, there's a lot of confidence from what I've seen on my time. There's a lot of confidence, but then, there's a few out there who've got, some PTSD, and rightfully so, man. It's this Dallas Cowboys team. We've all been along for the ride. We have seen, we've seen it. We've seen the story on play. We know how this story can go and has gone in the past. But each year's a new year, man. And that's what I try to tell people: is this team's successes or failures are completely independent of last year. It's a different team. We didn't have the same players on the team. It says Aaron Rodgers isn't there. He's not walking through that door. You're right. Aaron Rodgers, it's Love. My concern was Love running on us. If we can keep his ass in the pocket, we should be good. You're right, Edgar. And the thing is, if we force him out of the pocket again, what I said, Jordan Love is towards the bottom of the league in terms of that. He's not a guy that really he doesn't throw well on the run. That's not what he excels at. Frankie says, don't want to jinx it, but I have a lot of confidence we have a chance. And you know what, Frankie, I have the same kind of attitude as you about that. I don't want to seem like a jinx, but at the same time, I've got to the point in my life where I'm just like, you know what? The way that I talk, the shit that I talk, the confidence I have, it has no effect on the field of play on Sunday, because we're not going to be out there on Sunday. And I've grown to just be like that. So right now I'm confident. I'm beating my chest. I'm talking my smack, and come what may, man. If the Cowboys win, like I think they will, I think it's going to be a blowout. If not, then, hey, I'll be here to take my lumps. I'm a Cowboys fan, man. If anything, we can take gut shots. We can take them gut shots and them head shots like nobody else when it comes to the Cowboys taking losses in the NFL, man. We've seen some horrible things, and especially when it comes to Green Bay. I don't even want to talk about 2014 because I feel like that's so played out. I don't even want to bring that or speak that into existence. Dallas beats Dallas, and that's the Cowboys way for the past 2 decades. Exactly. I mean, I've been preaching that. I've been saying that on Twitter. I said it on the show Wednesday night. The only team in this NFC playoffs that scares me is the Dallas Cowboys, because I feel like we're the team that beats ourselves more often than not with those mental mistakes, with those self-inflicted penalties. It's just not what you want to. It's not what you want to see. Fred says, hella confident. I believe we're going to drop some points on them. I think so too. Frank says, from the bottom of my heart, don't want to jinx it the other way around. I don't care if it doesn't play out. I'm DC for life. And Frankie, we know that you are DC for life, man, over and over. For those of you who don't know, my man, Frank, is traveled now twice from overseas. He has came twice. I'm trying to change up my graphics. He's traveled twice from Germany. I mean, if that doesn't say something about this man, about how big of a fan he is, I mean, and brought his family, his entire family time. That is amazing. Not to just make 1, but 2. He's been to 3 games, Cowboys Nation, 3 games. And the man, I mean, that's huge. That's huge. And so hats off to you, Frank, because that is big. And fans like you are what turns the culture. It's what makes this this franchise such a great, great franchise is fans like you, man. I mean, coming all the way over from Germany, I just can't even. I tell people that all the time. I tell people that story all the time. I tell them about you, Frank. In my mind, man, you're a legend. Been able to make it over here. It's awesome. I'm glad that I got to meet you. The memories that we've been able to make over a couple of game span is just pretty awesome. So, Bobby says us Eagles are taking some gut shots too. Yeah, you guys have been taking some gut shots pretty much the whole month of December. You've been taking some back shots too. The New York Giants gave y'all a back shot on Sunday, man. Let me just tell you, that was something, man. Chris says, I think the only way we lose is we beat ourselves. I feel like that too, man. If this Cowboys team goes up, shows up, and does what they've been doing all season, ain't no way that we shouldn't lose that. Love all the Cowboys Nation. Well, Frank, Cowboys Nation loves you, man. And, you made the big board. We seen it the last time with the big Texas tailgate. Frank was there in the Dez montage, man. He was right there, man, just representing Cowboys Nation. Edgar says clock management, self-inflicted penalties, bad luck, or just plain bad play could happen. But we should win this game easily. It's just PTSD for Cowboys Nation. And I agree. There's a lot of that. And, obviously when it comes to Green Bay, Mike had done Mikey on the show the other day, and Mikey had talked about, a little bit of his PTSD from Green Bay because, the Cowboys in the playoffs, they haven't beat Green Bay. And that's all he knows is as a kid growing up is the disappointment that has happened from these Dallas and Green Bay matchups in the playoffs. But, I have a feeling that the tide is starting to turn, Cowboys Nation, and that's not just lip service. Whether Jimmy Johnson not being in the Ring of Honor was a curse or not, some good things have happened to the Cowboys since he got in. 2-0. Okay, it's 2-0 win streak or whatever. But we caught some breaks in that Lions game. We caught some breaks. I'm not going to sit there and say that last play was a break because let's just face it, man. 70 was the one that declared eligible. I'm not going to get into that. The Lions lost that game, but I'm just saying some good things have happened for the Cowboys in terms of the Eagles losing, Cowboys winning, being able to snatch the number 2 seed, being able to win the NFC East. Those are typically some breaks that the Cowboys haven't gotten in the past, so I'll take it. What we do with that is going. What we do with that going forward is up to this Cowboys team. It's up to this Cowboys coaching staff. Bobby, my Eagles fan here, my resident Eagles fan, says that's the liquor talking. Now, I'll just let you know I'm only on my first glass. The liquor probably won't start talking until about maybe the third glass. But I don't think I'm going to get that deep into this. I don't think I'm going to go 3 glasses deep before I end this live. I think maybe 1 or 2 because I don't want Mike to jump on here and see that his boy Kelly is up here running up the F words and getting YouTube. Listen, I got in trouble the last time I went live and I was drinking. I got in trouble, man. YouTube, flagged the video and said, hey, you're probably not going to earn any monetization because of swear words. And I can't help it, man. The F word just flies freely when I start drinking. So, I try not to. I really do, but sometimes I can't help it. Frank says, Cowboys Nation, we got to focus because all them haters are trying to make noise and disturb our focus. Let's just trust our leader and Dak waiting for something bigger. And I agree with that. One of the things that has bugged me during this week is the teams that are reaching out about wanting to interview Dan Quinn. Now, I don't know how that is looked at internally, but I don't like it. I don't like that process at all. I think that it is a process that the NFL needs to fix. I understand that a lot of these teams want to fill their coaching staffs and there's people and there's candidates, but the coaching searches should be similar to like free agency. You shouldn't be able to approach a player, about a contract until a certain period. And in my opinion, that should be after the Super Bowl. So they shouldn't be able to express interest in anybody. Just like, if Jerry Jones, Saquon was going to be a free agent at the end of the season. If Jerry Jones was like, I want Saquon on my team, we want to get Saquon Barkley into this Cowboys, that would be considered tampering, right? Because technically he's not a free agent. Well, Dan Quinn technically is not a free agent. He's still a coach for the Dallas Cowboys. So I don't feel like any of these teams should be able to reach out to Dan Quinn. I don't feel any of these teams should be able to drop little things in the media about, hey, we want to interview this, this person. If that coach is in the playoffs and he is still under contract, you shouldn't be able to say a damn thing about him until after either they're eliminated from the playoffs or till the Super Bowl is over. One of the two, right? But as long as that team is in contention, I don't like it. I think it's a distraction. I don't think it's maybe necessarily a distraction for the players, but they hear it. I mean, we talked, they asked Micah Parsons about what he thought about the possibility of Dan Quinn being gone. And, he made a joke and he said, I don't know, man, but if he goes, who knows, maybe he'll take me with me. I didn't like hearing that. I didn't like hearing that at all, man. Michael Parsons, I don't know if you ever tune into the Cowboys Cave or if anybody sends any of his clips to you, but please, for the love of God, don't go anywhere. Jerry is going to give you the bag. And when I say he's going to give you the bag, I'm talking about he's going to back up that Brinks truck and give you the bag. Because ain't no linebacker, ain't no guy that comes down here can play linebacker, can get off the defensive end, can sack the quarterback like a 16-year-old bagging groceries at the local Piggly Wiggly. I'm going to back up the Brinks truck for you, Micah. And Texas has no state tax. None. Remember, I will absolutely give you the bag. Don't go nowhere else, Micah. So, I mean, that's my plea to Micah and the Jerry. That's my plea. Don't leave nowhere. Don't make them jokes, man. You're tugging on our heartstrings, man. Cowboys have already been through enough pain the last 30 years without you trying to leave. One of the most best players that's ever come through this Cowboys organization. One of the most generational talents. We ain't gonna let you leave, Micah. We ain't gonna let you get out of here that easy. Ain't no damn way we're letting you get out of that easy, man. Yeah, Jerry gonna buy you a yacht too. Hell, Jerry lets you use the yacht, man. You let you use the yacht. You want to fly Air Force One, whatever you want, man, we got it. But in terms of the coaching process, man, it's just something I like, man. It's not something that I like. I don't like that. I feel like that it is a distraction because the players do hear about it, and it's hard not to at least have that on your mind as a Cowboys player, and then I think for the coaching staff too. But it is what it is. That's the process it is. It's not going to change this year, but I think it's something that the NFL should look at. I think it's something that they should fix. And I know in years past, I think it was last year, Dan Quinn said that he wasn't going to take any interviews until after the season because he was focused on the season, which is, I get that. And you hope that that's true. But I mean, you wouldn't be human if you're not at least thinking about it, because I mean, think about this for a regular Joe like myself or anybody else here in the chat, man. You got a job, right? You're an assistant manager, of a company, but you do really good. You've been with your company for a while, but your main boss, he ain't going nowhere, right? Your main boss ain't going nowhere. He's been very productive, but there's been mention of other companies. And they're, but you guys, you and your boss, y'all got this big project coming up, and all of a sudden you've got 3 or 4 of these companies that you could go to and you could be the top dog there, and you know that you're going to get a pay increase, and you know that you're going to get control of your staff, and you get to pick everything out. You basically get to get out from under the guy that you're working for at the time. You're going to make more money, but at the same time, you're currently with this company. You got a big project you got to work on. And it's huge, right? This is huge. It's huge to your pay. It's huge to your reputation. All of this. How would it be for you to not think about that? It's going to be in the back of your mind. It's going to be in the back of your mind. And it's the same for these NFL coaches. It's period. It's a distraction. It is. No matter what they say, no matter the lip service they give us, no matter what we hear them say, it is a distraction. And I'm not really a big fan of that. But at the end of the day, man, it is what it is. So Bobby says, I think Dan Quinn ends up in Seattle. That's probably the most likely scenario. I feel like, excuse me, just because of the familiarity with it. Dan Quinn has been in Seattle. He helped build that defense, that Super Bowl defense with Pete Carroll and the Legion of Boom. So he is associated with them quite often. So the fact that spot came open, I do think that Dan Quinn ends up leaving, and I think more than likely it's probably for Seattle. But at the same time, you sit there and you look at it. We got Al Harris, the DB coach that's done really well, and he's excelled. And I think he's probably earned a look to at least interview for the position of defensive coordinator. And obviously that would be his first go around, and there may be some bumps and there may be some transitions, but I think we've got good defensive personnel. And that's where it starts. Building a good defense starts with good defensive personnel. When you've got a guy like Michael Parsons, you've got DeMarcus Lawrence, you've got Stephon Gilmore, provided that we bring him back another year, which I fully think that the Cowboys will. But you're going to have Diggs coming back. You're going to have Bland there next year. He's going to still be there next year. You've got a lot of pieces in this defense kind of already locked up and lined up for next year. So you've got some good talent along that defense. Demarion Overshown is going to be coming back from injury. That is a promising linebacker. We've got the draft where we can add some more talent, which obviously I think we need to start addressing this offensive line, because the offensive line has been a problem this year. And I think that's an area of concern. That's an area where we probably want to go, is looking deeper into this offensive line. But there's some areas, there's some positivities for this defense in terms of our personnel. So I wouldn't be too incredibly I would say pessimistic if Dan Quinn does leave for Seattle, or he gets a head coaching job. Hopefully at the end of the day, we take care of business and the Cowboys win the Super Bowl, and all of this is just, at the end of the day, it's just fluff talk, man. And we get to say, hey, you know what, Dan Quinn, thank you. You helped us win a Super Bowl. You helped us get that 6th Super Bowl. You're going to go down as one of the, great defensive coordinators for the Dallas Cowboys. Along with the likes of some of the greats in the past. And we wish you well, and we wish you luck in your future endeavors. So that's obviously the hope. But if that doesn't happen and we don't win a Super Bowl and Dan Quinn still leaves, I'm still going to wish him luck, because, he did pretty good while he was here. We got a top 5 defense. We got a top 5 offense. And I feel like that's the most well-rounded team that this Cowboys have had. Now, I was talking with another guy, and in the chat, if you disagree, feel free to let me know, because I'm always up for a debate, and always up. I think debate is a good thing. I think this is the best team that this Dallas Cowboys have had since the 90s. I do. I think this is the best team that we've had since the last time that we won the Super Bowl, in terms of top to bottom, all the way around. Top 5 offense, top 5 defense. I don't remember the last time, and I could be wrong, but I know it wasn't 2007. I know it wasn't in the 2000s, that we've had a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense. Now, somebody did tell me that 2007, they thought that was the most complete team. And I looked it up. 2007, that defense was ranked 13th. And that was, they were ranked 13th. The offense was ranked, I think, 3rd. The offense might have been a little bit better, but I don't think that there's been a team where we had a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense. Now, Tyler Durden just said, better than 14. Yes. Okay, I thought you were saying 14, we had a better defense. I know 14, the defense is a little bit suspect. Now, I will say where that 2007 team did have a leg up on this team was the run defense was significantly better. 2 fingers. That's actually like 4 fingers. Oops. I will say where they had a leg up, though, that 2007 defense, their run defense was really good. Run defense was ranked 6th overall, and this run defense this year is 13th, or no, 16th. 16th. We got the 16th ranked run defense this year. I believe that's right. So, but yeah, no, this team is a great team, man. It's a well-rounded team. They've got a great defense. They've got a great offense. They're doing things well on both sides of the ball. The one area where you'd like to see that get cleaned up a little bit, though, is the penalties. I still believe that we are number 1 in the NFL, the most penalized team in the NFL. If we're not the most penalized, then we're the second most penalized team. It's a bit discouraging that through 3 years of McCarthy now. Well, actually 2020, 21, 22. It's actually 4 years of Mike McCarthy. That he hasn't gotten that cleaned up. It seems like the penalties have been something that's plagued this team. Now, I don't know if it's because I don't know if that's because just Mike McCarthy can't get these guys to be disciplined, or if it's just that these players aren't taking to the discipline. I don't know what that is. Because if you think about it, this team, the Cowboys have been a team that's been heavily penalized. Like, I think top 5 in the league for even before McCarthy came around. I think that goes all the way back into Jason Garrett. Probably since Parcells left, I would imagine. But it just seems like that. And again, it makes you kind of wonder sometimes if the refs are a little bit more one-sided. I don't want to make excuses. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist. I don't want to be that guy. But it is what it is. The Cowboys don't seem to get calls a lot of the times. And they get those calls against them a lot of the times. So that's the one area where, and then again, that's where we were talking earlier in the show, where it makes some of you guys paranoid about it, is saying, hey, the only team that can beat the Cowboys is the Cowboys, because we've seen how, we can start stacking up those penalties, and those penalties can get a drive going for the opposing team, or they can stop a drive for the Cowboys. It's not something good. It's not something pretty. It's not something we like to see, and it's something we'd like to see stop. You get a drive where I think it was that Lions drive where the Cowboys had 2 or 3 penalties on that drive that helped the Lions go down there. One of them is a phantom tripping call on Aiden Hutchinson. It trips, and we get it called on our guy. I believe it was Shoemaker that they called that on, or Hendershot, one of the two. I think it was the tight end. They call it tripping on us when it was clearly Aiden Hutchinson. There was also, I think, a pass interference call, or maybe it was a personal foul that was that drive as well, that kind of helped them move the ball just kind of right down the field, which, that's all it takes is a couple of 15-yard penalties or a big pass interference penalty to flip field position and kind of give an advantage to a team that's trying to even the score or climb back into a game. And you just, you want to see that be minimized in these playoffs. It's the fear of any fan is letting a team get back into it once you've got them out of it. Like when this Cowboys team, and that's what I feel encouraged about, though, is because I do feel like this Cowboys team throughout this season, when they have put their foot down on another team's throat, that's it. I mean, we're not letting teams back into games, and that's what you got to admire about this defensive coaching staff. You got to admire it about Mike McCarthy. They stay aggressive, and they make sure that when they get these leads and they build these double-digit leads, instead of those double-digit leads dwindling, they continue to go upwards. They continue to create separation there in that score. And, I look back at last year, a game like the Green Bay Packers, when we played the Packers last year, and Kellen Moore is the offensive coordinator. We're up on that team by multiple touchdowns. And then all of a sudden, instead of running the ball, killing the clock, trying to run a ball controlled offense, Kellen Moore keeps throwing the ball. Dak Prescott throws an interception. Boom. I think it was a pick six, put Green Bay right back in the game. And McCarthy hasn't done that this year. He has been able to finish teams off when we get them down and when we get those big leads, and nobody in the NFL has played better with the lead than the Cowboys. It's when things are tight. It's when we're playing from behind that you start to see this Cowboys team press a little bit, right? You see them press a little bit. You see them kind of get a little bit nervous about things. Now, I will say that I've got, confidence in Dak to be the guy that calms this team, that he's the rudder for this team, that he's the guy that guides this thing, right? Because Dak Prescott has been the unquestioned leader of this team all year long. He has. I know a lot of people have questioned if Dak Prescott is the leader, and whether it's him, whether it's Michael Parsons, or like, who's the leader of this team? Who's the guy? But I think Prescott has absolutely snagged this team and grabbed them by the reins. And I think that has a lot to do with Mike McCarthy. I read an article just this morning about they meet after practice daily, McCarthy and Dak. And I think he said it was daily, or it might have been weekly, but it was once. Anyway, it's a 2.5 hours, and they spend half an hour talking about football and 2 hours talking about life. And I think that's important. I think that's important because Mike McCarthy, I think, has helped Dak Prescott grow as a man. And I know there's probably sitting here people talking about, well, come on, man, that you're telling me that these guys, Dak wasn't a man before that. It's not that. It's that Mike McCarthy is a leader. And it's once a week. It's once a week. Every Thursday. I had to look it up and just make sure. It's every Thursday. It's once a week. But Mike McCarthy is the leader of this team. He's the coach. And I think Dak looks to McCarthy for guidance. And I think he has given him some guidance. And I think he's given him some direction. Because, I mean, who else would you credit for that? I think Dak has put in the extra work. I think Dak's put in the extra time in the film study. But who else would you credit for Dak's maturity and his growth? And you look at the things that Mike McCarthy did with Aaron Rodgers, and, people would be so quick. I know Green Bay fans, I've talked to several Green Bay fans this week who have talked and been very quick to dismiss Mike as a play caller, to talk about his departure from Green Bay and why they ran him out of Green Bay, and let's just face it, sometimes it's time to leave. Sometimes it is time for a coach to leave. And for Mike McCarthy, it was his time to leave Green Bay. But Matt LaFleur had several years with Aaron Rodgers. And what did he do? He didn't win a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, that was the automatic conclusion, was that if Mike McCarthy leaves, we can bring a coach in. We've got a Hall of Fame, first ballot, one of the greatest quarterbacks to play in Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers will win another Super Bowl. We got to get rid of Mike. They got rid of Mike. Aaron Rodgers did not win another Super Bowl. In fact, he didn't even get to another Super Bowl. They had some early playoff round exits. I think they made the NFC Championship once. But they didn't do anything. I don't even think they made it. They might have made it once. I don't think they did. I know that Matt LaFleur's playoff record, and this is with Aaron Rodgers, is 2-4. It's 2-4. Okay, so I'm not looking at Matt LaFleur like he did anything crazy, with Aaron Rodgers. So I sit there and I think that Mike gets a lot of disrespect. I think Mike McCarthy doesn't get a lot of credit for the job that he's done in Dallas. I think he's done a great job. I think he's done a great job in changing the culture. Jeff says you can see it when they show scenes of them together. There's a great relationship there. And Jeff, you've got it. You pinged it there. And I think it's important for the head coach to have a great relationship with his quarterback. You look at Andy Reid. I think Andy Reid is a great example of a coach that really gets it. He gets that coach-quarterback relationship and how important it is for the success of the team. Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, they have a very close relationship. You can just see by the way they talk. You can see this talks of them on the sidelines. You can see that about them. And you can see that with Dak and Mike McCarthy. And I think that's important for the success of this team. I think it's been important for the growth and maturity of Dak Prescott as a quarterback here in 2024. I just really like that dynamic there. And I think that McCarthy doesn't get enough credit for it. If you look at the rankings and look, I had this sent to me the other day, play callers after week 18. I will preface this by saying that they had Matt LaFleur as the second best play caller in the NFL. Interesting enough, right? But they had Mike McCarthy as number 5. So Mike McCarthy's been a top 5 play caller this year. That's impressive, right? I mean, with all the question marks and Kellen Moore leaving, and this was the number 1 scoring offense, and this offense was this or they were that, how good would they be? How big would the fall off be? Mike's not great with analytics. Mike's not great with this. Mike's not great with that. This offense has come out and looked very efficient. And, there's been a few question marks still about Mike's time management. And there have been a few areas of concern, but I thought overall, that he's gotten better with that. So I'm encouraged, and I don't know how Cowboys Nation, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I feel encouraged. Bobby said, do they share nuggies too? They might share nuggies. Actually, you know what? I don't think they do. I think that's Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. I think they share tush pushes. I've heard that after Eagles practices, Sirianni and Hurts will take turns doing tush pushes for like 2 hours, like just until one person's tush is just completely annihilated from the pushing. So I have heard that. But I don't know. Cowboys Nation, you tell me how you've been feeling about Mike McCarthy, because I feel confident. I feel a lot of confidence. And honestly, I want to hear more from the chat, because what I want to do is I want to start answering some questions from you guys. I've told you with confidence level. We've talked a little bit about Mike McCarthy. I've told you my opinions and my thoughts on the the whole Dan Quinn being a candidate and how I feel about that. But what I want to hear is I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear how you feel. I want to hear questions. I want to take questions from you guys and answer some questions. About how you guys feel about this game, how you, what matchups are you looking at? What is your matchup that you're looking at in this game? What is your, obviously we went over the concerns. A lot of people have said that it's the Cowboys because, the Cowboys is the team that can shoot themselves in the foot and hurt themselves is the Cowboys. But how do you guys feel? What are you guys' questions? What are your concerns? What are your thoughts? What do you think about this matchup versus Green Bay? At quarterback for quarterback, how do you think Jordan Love's going to do against his defense? How do you think this defense is going to do against the run game? Aaron Jones. I'll tell you right now, one cause for PTSD. I had to look it up the other day because I remember it happening. I just couldn't remember exactly when it happened, but I remember Aaron Jones going for four touchdowns against the Dallas Cowboys defense when he was with Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers was there. I had to look it up. It was 2019. Jason Garrett was still the head coach for the Cowboys at that time, but he ran for 4 touchdowns. Didn't have a whole lot of yards, but he ran for 4 touchdowns, and that was, oh, God. And then, you hear the name Aaron Jones, and you think, man, he's a guy that tends to run downhill. He can be elusive, pop it inside, pop outside. But I'm not really too scared about Aaron Jones now because I think he's not the Aaron Jones of 2019. Obviously, Ben says I think we win by 10 plus, and Edgar says MM needs to get the hump and get this team to the chip. We have a great team right now, and as the years go by and contracts come up, this team will start to lose some key pieces. The time to win is now. Yeah, I agree with that. I wholeheartedly agree with that because you've got CeeDee Lamb's contract coming up. You've got Micah Parsons' contract coming up. You have to restructure and give Dak Prescott a new contract. This team's window, I think, is now. I really do. I think this is the best opportunity this Cowboys team or this Cowboys franchise has had to win another Super Bowl. You look at the competition around the NFC, it's not a very deep NFC. It's just not. So you look at that and you got to feel like we've got a good chance. Honest question. Don't want to jinx it. What if we are 1-out? You know what? Frank, that's a good question. That is a really good question. Because it's a legit question. It's a possibility. It could happen. Let's face it. It's NFL. Any team can win on any given Sunday. I don't know if that would be a long, hard discussion, man. You've had Mike McCarthy. He's had 3 12-win seasons and won the NFC East 2 out of 3 years. But if he's one and done in the playoffs this year against a young Green Bay team, I don't know, man. I think that you have to at least have the conversation about moving on from McCarthy. And I know that sounds crazy because I just talked up McCarthy and talked about how the growth and maturity of Dak Prescott and the confidence levels and all this other stuff. But one and done would not be acceptable for this team. This team has greater aspirations. This team has got greater talent. They are more talented than that Green Bay team that sits across the field from them on Sunday, and they should beat them. I mean, Vegas opened them up with 7.5-point favorites. You're not a 7.5-point favorite if you are not good. That's how it is. So that's where that goes. I think you would have to have a serious discussion about Mike McCarthy if he loses in the first round of these playoffs, because that's That would not be acceptable. It'd be an embarrassment. I mean, you think about Stephen A. Smith, that dude's going to laugh all the way to the damn bank because, yeah, it's just not something good. But I don't want to think about that, and I get it. You said you don't want to jinx it, but hey, it's a good question and it's a legit question. But yeah, you have to have that conversation about moving on from McCarthy because you got to look at this team. You got to look at the talent on this team, and you got to think, something's wrong if this team goes one and done in this playoffs. Something's wrong. So Edgar says, Kelly, what are your concerns this weekend against Green Bay? I guess my biggest concern in this game would just be containing and stopping the run. We've seen what teams could do if they get to being successful in the run game and running the ball well downfield. We've seen what teams can do. Obviously, it opens up that intermediate pass game. But my main concern is stopping the run. I think that if the Cowboys can stop the run, I think that we're going to be fine because, again, I know Jordan Love is at a nice second half of the season, but I'm not overly concerned with Jordan Love as a passer. When it comes to our front four, I think we get pressure with our front four without having to bring blitzes. I think that the secondary can more than handle their own, and I think they will. I think the secondary will stand tall, and I think that Jordan Love's only had 11 interceptions all season, but I think that this Cowboys team, they're going to force him into at least one interception, and they're going to force him into a turnover, possibly two. And if this Cowboys defense does that, we've seen what can happen. It's a feeding frenzy. The offense feeds off of that energy. The defense just, they go and they start playing with that ferocity. They go and they snag the ball. I think that's what's going to happen. 3 seasons of 12-5, no changes needed. They're going to steal coaches as is. You're right. They will. I think when you talk about that and you say no changes needed, as a Cowboys fan, if we lost in the first round and 3 12-5 seasons, really in the longevity of it means what? It means that you don't get as great of a draft pick as if you had a bad team. It means that it's one more year with Dak Prescott that you didn't win it. It's one more year with Micah Parsons on that defense that you didn't win it. Those are questions that you have to ask if you're going to be a winning organization. Look at the Seattle Seahawks. Pete Carroll has been a good coach for them for many years. I mean, let's just face it, what he did with a lesser quarterback, they traded Russell Wilson, they had Geno Smith, and they still had success with Geno Smith. They were on the brink of making the playoffs this year. I barely missed it, but he had Geno Smith. Does anybody think that Geno Smith is a franchise quarterback? I don't. I thought that Pete Carroll got the best out of Geno Smith, but they chose to move on from him. And the thing is, you cannot be stagnant, because if you're stagnant at any position, and that goes for on the field or off the field, that goes for me and my job, that goes for you and your job. If you have a lot of success and you're successful, but they want to see growth, and the object is to continue to grow and to trend upward, and you stay stagnant, eventually you might get moved on from. And that's discussions that people have to have. So question is this: who can replace him and be that much better that's available? Well, I don't know. Me and Mike have talked about that, and we've talked about the fact that I haven't really looked into that much, and I don't want to, because I think that this team has bigger things at hand, bigger things to focus on. I've had the questions about, Kelly, would you jump on Bill Belichick? Bill Belichick just, recently let go from the Patriots. One of the greatest coaches of our era, greatest coaches of our time. Won countless Super Bowls. You lose count of how many he has. But the Patriots won 6 with Bill Belichick. And I mean, would I hypothetically, would I have interest in Bill Belichick? Sure. But is that something I'm really thinking about right now? No, because I don't think that's what it's going to be. You know what I mean? I don't think that's what it's going to be. I don't think the Cowboys lose in the first round. I don't think we're looking for a head coach. I think this Cowboys team goes in and they smash Green Bay and they move on to the rest. Now, what I want to know from you guys, now that we've covered that. We've covered a lot of bases here. What is everybody's opinion on the game in Kansas City that they're supposed to play in Kansas City? Kansas City and Miami. There's been talks about, and as of now, they have not decided to move the game. But they've talked about the Kansas City Chiefs and the Dolphins. What does everybody feel about that game? Because I don't know if you guys know, but like I told you, I'm here because it's a blizzard outside. We're having very, very bad weather. We've got probably about 10 inches to a foot of snow. And it is cold. It's cold as hell. They've got winter storm advisories. They're talking about, they're talking about the fact that 10 to 15 minutes outdoors in this kind of wind chill and this type of weather, frostbite can start to sink in. Okay. So not only does it become dangerous for the players, it becomes dangerous for the fans. And the game is tomorrow night. And I know here in Omaha, the high, this is a night game, but tomorrow the high is going to be 0 degrees. 0 degrees. So that's, for me, it's funny because somebody on Twitter, it was a female that just earlier today, they were talking about, she thinks that they should cancel it. And she was getting called out and they were saying, you know what? These are NFL players. These are professionals. This is a man's sport. This is that, blah, 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 blah. And I get it. But dude, that's cold. That is cold, 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 cold. And at some point, it gets more about the safety of these players. I'm trying to look up the forecast real quick so I can see what the temperature is going to be tomorrow night when they kick off. But I mean, I don't know, man. I think there's more important things than an NFL game. I heard it's more. Yeah, Bobby, I heard that too. They're talking about wind chill is going to be negative 30. That's insane, man. I mean, because how do you keep people safe at that? And okay, so I'm looking here. I don't know exactly what time that Kansas City kicks off. But I'm thinking it's about 5 or 6, but the temperature is going to be single digits. At 7 p.m., the temperature is 0 degrees. By 8 p.m., it's -1. And so I just don't know, man. I think about the safety of these fans. I think about safety, but you think about sitting outside. I mean, I went outside earlier, and it's 5 degrees here. Wind chill's like -10. I went outside and let my dog outside. I had a coat on. I had 2 jackets on. I had this sweater. I had a jacket on. I had a coat on. I had a beanie on. I had gloves on, and 2 layers of pants. And within 5 minutes, between 5 and 10 minutes, I am cold as shit. My feet are cold. My nose and my face is cold. My hands, I didn't have gloves on. I will say that. I was keeping them in mind, but they're cold. I mean, I don't see how you play that game tomorrow night thinking about the safety of the players. Bobby says they play at 8 p.m. Eastern. So you're talking about it's going to be 0. Can a player get 1 frickin' degree? 1 frickin' degree. I mean, it's going to be 0 degrees with wind chills as low as -30. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't like it for the fans, the people that will try to brave it, the people that will have that mentality that, you know what, we can brave this, we can be there. I think they need to move the game. I do. Because I think you've got to think about player safety. I think you've got to think about fan safety. And sometimes you got to save players from themselves because, you look, and they're talking about that this game would be the coldest in NFL history. And you talk about that Ice Bowl game and you talk about those players. And when they talked about playing in that Ice Bowl game, you hear the quotes from those players, the Green Bay Dallas Ice Bowl. Those players talked about trying to catch that football was like trying to catch a cinder block hitting your hands. And this game, they're saying, is going to be colder than that. Bobby made a good point. He says, imagine the Miami players getting off the plane. Exactly. Miami may forfeit the game. Maybe that's what Kansas City's hoping. Miami gets off the plane and says, you know what? We don't even want it that bad. We're heading back to South Beach. We don't even want it that bad. But I just sitting out in sub-zero temperatures for a 3.5, 3 hour game, probably about 3 hours. It just don't make sense. It just don't make sense to me. And I think that the league needs to use some common sense here and move the game. And the other thing is, I don't mind playing outdoors. I don't mind playing in the elements, but it would be nice if most teams went to the retractable roof or at least had a roof over the stadium. I do. Call me soft, call me new school, whatever. I mean, because don't get me wrong, I do like seeing some of the games played in the elements, the rain games, the snow games, and stuff. They're fun to watch sometimes. But talk to Ezekiel Elliott after he played in his first one of his first games where he played in like a blinding snowstorm, and Ezekiel Elliott said it sucked. He said, I always watched it on TV, and I always talked it up that it would be fun. It sucked. And yeah, I thought about him, and I said, I thought Ezekiel Elliott playing for Ohio State. I thought surely that wasn't the first time he's played in a snowstorm, but apparently it was. I guess maybe he's played in snow, but maybe not a snowstorm, because I guess in that game in New England the other night, it was actually coming down. Snow was blowing into his face, whatever. It was cold. The winds were whipping around. Anyway, he said it sucked. So again, that's why I just feel like that the NFL should move that game. And I feel like most of you in the chat agree with that. Yeah, Taylor can even say, shake this shit off. So yeah, I think that, Taylor is saying, hey, let's get it done. Jeff is saying that they should move it. Frank says that they should move it. Fred, supposed to be snow in Buffalo for their game too. Heard, 10 to 12 inches. Yeah. So, anytime that you've got inclement conditions, like, okay, if it's just snow, that's fine. If it's just snow, I feel like you can do that because we've seen those games before. We've seen where it's dumped a foot of snow. We've seen those kind of things happen. But we haven't seen a game that's this cold. They said this would be the coldest game in NFL history, the coldest game on record. And that's just, to me, it's not worth it. It's just not. Every job that was outdoors today in Omaha at 5 degrees, the high was 5, wind chill was like -10. If you worked outside in Omaha today, you didn't go to work. Work was canceled. And these are guys that can bundle up and wear overalls. They can wear heat packs. They can wear heated jackets. They can wear all this stuff. These NFL players are going out there wearing an NFL jersey. Okay. At most, they can wear like a long sleeve, like a warm long sleeve. They're not going to be able to wear a hoodie under their jersey. They're not going to be they can't wear multiple layers under their uniform. And I just don't think it's worth it. I just don't think it's worth it. And I think even Kansas City fans would have to agree with that and say, hey, because I know Kansas City is like, well, we got the home field advantage, whatever. Move the game to another location or reschedule it the rescheduling thing is hard to do because you've got the playoffs going on. And obviously there's a schedule to keep. But maybe you move it to Sunday and you move it somewhere else to a different location. I don't know what you do. I don't know what the answer is, but I know you got to move it for safety reasons. And then peace out, homies. Birthday dinner for my Kimmy. Oh, Fred, man. Hey, listen, man. Tell Kimmy from me, from the Cowboys cave. Tell that little princess I say happy birthday, man. I hope you spoil her. I hope you get her everything she wants. And tell her Kelly K9 said happy birthday. Cowboys Cave loves her, and I'm so happy that we could make her smile the other day for giving that shout out to her, man. She's a favorite for Cowboys Cave. So again, tell her happy birthday, man. Enjoy that birthday dinner. Drive safe, man. To take words from Fred Jones, we'll be safe, homie. Have a good one, man. Cowboys Cave in the chat. Give a shout out to Kimmy. Happy birthday. That is Fred's daughter, and she's a beautiful young lady. And a special young lady to the show. So happy birthday again, Kimmy. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you get spoiled and get all the gifts that you wanted and deserve. Frank said, we ask a lot from these guys. Let me pin this one real quick. Frankie says, we ask a lot from these guys. The guys ask a lot from us. We're headed to an environment for the time being. I like all the players to be safe. I agree. I think we want all the players. I am not a, I'm not a Chiefs fan. But I do want those Chiefs players to be safe. I'm not a Dolphins fan, but I want those Dolphins players to be safe. I am not a fan of either one of those teams, but I am. I want them to be safe, and I think they should be safe. And that safety is the first and foremost thing. They sit there and they talk about, they talk about player safety all the time with the concussions and with the CTE and all that stuff. Okay, well, but you're talking about a game where the wind chill is going to be negative 30 below and people could actually get frostbite or people could die. And you haven't even mentioned maybe we should move this game, and it's Friday evening at 5:49 and you still have yet to move the game. Like, what are you doing? Um, so I don't know. I don't like it, not one bit. But if they have to play the game, then they have to play the game. I'm sure all of us will be tuned in. I know I will. I don't think I'm going anywhere. I'm pretty much snowed in. I was able to make it out for to pick up the bottle of salted caramel, but after that, I'm not going out. Luckily, the grocery store is just right behind where I live, so I didn't have far to go. Me and my son had to shovel out my car from the snow to get my car out because I live in an apartment complex. They basically the plow comes through and it puts this big old huge pile of snow behind my car. So getting out was a challenge, but we were able to get out. I'm sure all the neighbors were hearing me rev my engine up and my tires burning out and thinking, what the hell is this guy doing? But it wasn't just to go get the salted caramel. Don't make me think that I was just to go get that. My kids wanted some snack foods and stuff, so I had to get some stuff. Probably should have got that last night, but got a few things for the house. But in the Midwest, we're all going through that right now. Pretty cold. Pretty hazardous conditions. Great listening, Kelly. Thanks for your insight. First listening, enjoy. All right. Well, hey, you know what? I appreciate that very much. And it says first time listening, enjoy the time. So, hey, if this is your first time, do me a favor and please go and hit the like and subscribe. Subscribe to the channel, like the channel, and click the little bell on there. You'll get notifications whenever we go live, whenever we have shows. It's not just me that's doing this. I do have a co-host, great co-host, Mike Tagg, the godfather of hype, that gets Cowboys Nation hype on Twitter, drops hype videos. You can see him in the shorts that we'll be dropping on here. We've got a fantasy football show that comes on. We've got Jimmy D on Mondays. We've got Uncle Cheech, the Vegas Insider. We've got a lot of great things. Player interviews. If you want to see some of the great Cowboys player interviews, we've got some of the best on here. We've interviewed Moose Johnston, George Teague, Charlie Waters, Bob Lilly. We've just, the list goes on and on. We've got Tony the Thrill Hill coming up here in the next few months. So please like, subscribe, and share. But again, thank you for tuning in. Frankie said, I love you all. I love you too, man. It's a little too early maybe for me to start saying the I love yous yet. Give me another glass and I'm probably going to be shouting it out to everybody. I'm going to tell you right now, this salted caramel whiskey is one of the best. Look at my cheeks. You're getting a little bit red. Starting to get a little bit red. I'm on that second glass. First time and subscribe. Tim, thank you very much for subscribing. I appreciate that, man. Any subscribers that we get, we do a lot of good things, man. We have an annual Cowboys tailgate down at AT&T Stadium, which I hope to get everybody that is in the chat right now down there to that tailgate next year. We will announce that when the schedule comes out, when that'll be. But we bring everybody in. We want everybody to be there. We take in some donations for the tailgate, but we get Cowboys fans and we unite Cowboys fans from across the globe, not just the United States, from across the globe. My man Frankie is all the way from Germany, and he's in here. We love Frankie. We love and adore that man. He's a national treasure. But listen, it's the world's team. It's not just America's team. It's the world's team. And I love doing this, man. I love talking with you guys. I love, and even the haters, that tune in. If you guys are tuning in and you don't like the Cowboys and you want to talk a little smack about the Cowboys, that's perfectly fine, because you know what? You're adding to the view hours, you're adding to the viewerships, and you are making things better for Cowboys Cave. And the more viewers we get, the more subscribers we get, the more that we can do for you guys. Now, we have a Cowboys giveaway when we hit 3,000 subscribers. So every single person that is a subscriber is absolutely going to be available for this. We have a signed Bob Lilly, Mr. Cowboy. It's a Tom Landry Funko Pop signed by Bob Lilly himself, that when we get to 3,000 subscribers, we are giving that away. So Cowboys Nation, please do not forget. We have that going. We will promote it. We will let you know when we hit the 3,000 subscribers and we do the show. We enter everybody's name in, but we will have a contest For those of you that are new, you'll just need to be tuned into the show. We'll let you know when we're having it. You can, if you're tuned into the show, all you're going to have to do is comment in the section, enter. We'll enter your name in the hat that night. You'll be eligible to win that. Bob, let's talk about that. I mean, Mr. Cowboy, to have a Bob Lilly autographed anything instantly makes your man cave one of the most popular man caves in all of America, because you've got Mr. Cowboy in your man cave. That makes it all worth the while right there. Working on some other great things. I've got something personally in the works that I'm working on. A great cowboy, a legend, a Hall of Famer that I'm trying to get to come to the show. I don't know if I'll be able to get him confirmed yet, but possibly. I know we've got Tony the Thrill Hill, but we're working on some great things for you guys, Cowboys Nation. So absolutely. Thank you, Tim, though, for being a first time and subscribing to the channel. We really do appreciate it. Frankie said the world's team, America's team, Cowboys Cave is the show. We absolutely love that, and thank you for the love as always. So Cowboys Nation, I'm getting ready to wind this thing down. Been going for a little over an hour. I just want to know, I'm going to answer a couple more questions before we roll out. I'm going to finish this second glass here of whiskey. When this glass is over, we're going to end the live. I'm going to get off. I got another show to do tonight. For those of you that want to tune in to another show tonight, we've got EJ Savage, Boys in the Zone, is going to be having a podcast tonight, and it's going to be a panel of Dallas Cowboys. It's Boys in the Zone, EJ Savage. It's going to be a great show. We're going to have a panel of guests. It's going to be a lot. It's on YouTube. It is at EJ Savage podpage.com. So if you're looking for EJ Savage, again, it is EJ2, the number 2, and then Savage, Podpage, podpage.com, and that's on YouTube. So you can tune in, and it's going to be me, myself. It's going to be Mike. We're going to have Jay Massey on there. We're going to have Cam on there. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a huge panel of Cowboys content creators on there. It's going to be a show you're going to want to tune in for. We're going to break down this matchup. That is 8 p.m. Central Standard Time that we're going to be doing that. So if you guys want to tune in to that, please do so. Blake A says, new to the channel, go Cowboys from Philadelphia. Now, let me just go ahead and give you a little let me go and give you one of them salutes, man, because Cowboys fans from Philadelphia have got to be some of the most diehard fans, man, because let me just tell you, I know that it is tough. I know that it is tough living in Philadelphia, having to deal with all them damn Eagles fans. I know that that's got to be tough to represent them. So when I see Cowboys fans that are from Philadelphia, it was one of the times that I'm just sitting there and I'm always like, you know what? I love Cowboys fans from Philadelphia, man, because you guys make the world go round. You make those Philadelphia fans uncomfortable. You give them it's a thing of beauty, man. So Blake, please make sure you do like and subscribe to the channel. Also, there's a notification bell when you subscribe. You can hit the notification bell. And you can hit that notification bell. It'll let you know anytime we go live, and we really do appreciate that. Sorry, I'm on my phone and I'm old. I called you Mike. Oh, shoot. That's all right, man. Don't worry about it. And Kelly, Mike, hey, it's the same thing. So Cowboys Cave, just checking in. Is Kelly watching his language? Oh, man, we got Cowboys Cave checking in. You know who that is? That's the old moderator. That's old Mike. Mike, we've been on here for a little over an hour and 7 minutes. I don't think that I've cussed once. Listen, I said I was going to finish this glass of whiskey, and then I was going to get off. Now, when I go on to EJ Savage later tonight with all you fine folks, and we're on EJ Savage Boys in the Zone podcast, again, guys, tune in live on YouTube. Get on there. That might be a little bit different. I might be 3 sheets to the wind by there, and I might cuss on his channel. But we'll try to keep it PG. But no, we've been doing good, having a good conversation. But for them Philadelphia fans that are out there and they are in, I love it. So it looks like we've picked up a few extra subscribers to the channel, and I like that, man. I like that. We have picked up, Mike, a few new subscribers to the channel tonight. A few people that have moved in. One of them from Philadelphia that have said, 2 of them that have liked and subscribed to the channel. Nick Wright said, feeling almost too confident about this Green Bay matchup. Where are you confidence-wise? Where am I confidence-wise? I've said all week, I'm very confident. We should not lose to this game. We to the Green Bay Packers, that team. We have no business losing to that team. And I feel like the Cowboys win that game, and I feel like they win it by double digits. So good show today from PR. I appreciate that. Listen, hey, I don't think Casanueva Films. I don't think I've seen you in here before, but if you are new and this is your first time, please hit the like, please hit the subscribe button. I've went over this spiel before, but liking and subscribing helps grow the channel, and we appreciate your support and tuning in today. Edgar says, great show, Kelly. Absolutely. Subscribe and the alarm is set. Thank you. I appreciate that, Blake, all the way from Philly. That is awesome, man. I really do appreciate it. The Tampa fans said that they're going to stomp the Eagles. Yeah, that's one thing that I have not touched on. We could touch on that real quick before I go. Listen, I think that Tampa Bay bounces Philadelphia like a hot check. I really do, man. I think that Philadelphia is that cool starter jacket that you've been looking for, but you can't afford it. You got about $50 in the bank. The jacket costs $160, but you got overdraft protection at $300. You go right to hot check and you gonna bounce it. That's how Tampa gonna treat Philadelphia in this playoffs. They're gonna bounce Philadelphia, man. I have no faith in Philadelphia. They're imploding through that whole organization, top to bottom. I've been saying all year that I thought that they were frauds. It just took a little bit longer for them to come around and show their true selves. They have showed it the whole month of December. This last 6 weeks, they've went 1-5. And I think Tampa Bay and Baker Mayfield, of all quarterbacks, shreds that Philadelphia secondary and sends them home. So I don't think anybody's going to be crying about that. Greetings from a Cowboys fan. Let's put this on the chat. Greetings from a Cowboys fan from Aruba. Okay. All right. Look at that, Cowboys Nation. We got somebody from Aruba here. Well, hey, shout out to a Cowboys fan from blistery, wintry Omaha, Nebraska. Thank you for joining the Cowboys Cave and choosing to join this show. Please hit the like and subscribe button. If you are a Cowboys fan and this is your first time to the channel, we provide some really great content here, an interactive chat for fans to come in, talk Cowboys football, for us to break down games, give score predictions, player interviews, fantasy football, Uncle Cheech the Vegas Insider. I keep saying these spiels. I know I sound like a broken record, but I got to tell all the new people that are in here and all the new viewers, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. It's going to let you know anytime that we go live. Do that because I promise you will enjoy it. But thank you very much for tuning in. Raymart Gael, I know I'm going to butcher that last time. Remiart Giel, Giel. I know I'm probably butchering that name. I do apologize for that. But thank you for joining the show and thank you for tuning in. Professor Uncle says Fraudadelphia. Fraudadelphia. Jeff Allen says if Baker is on, Evans and Goodwin should eat that D for dinner on a Monday night. Absolutely. I agree. Listen, man, you got Sam Howell that's just shredded that Philadelphia secondary on multiple occasions. What Philadelphia has going on for them right now is not fixable. It's not fixable. It's not something you fix. It's not an easy fix. It's not a short-term fix. Their secondary is bad. They cannot cover an 80-year-old woman in a wheelchair with a blanket if they were given the quilt. They can't. And that does not bode well for Philadelphia going forward into these playoffs. I feel like they're one and done. Meanwhile, Philadelphia is on their knees praying that the Cowboys are one and done, because if the Cowboys advance, they're going to just, once the Eagles are out, you know what they're going to do. They're going to come over to Cowboys Nation and they're going to come over to our side and they're going to start talking smack and they're going to put all their focus on the Cowboys, all their focus and energy on the Cowboys losing. That's how it's going to go. But that's all right. We've been in this. We're not new. Eagles fans out here already moving on to basketball. They turned on their own team in the blink of an eye. That's what they do in Philadelphia, man. You turn into Philadelphia radio, they're talking about firing Sirianni. They're talking about get rid of the OC, the DC. It's bad over there. John, I cannot say that word because I think Mike Tag might still be watching, so I can't say that right now. But he says, F Philly. I'm Cowboys Nation from South Jersey, 10 minutes from Philly. It's been a great couple of weeks. You're damn right it has been. You're damn right. You should be walking around with your chest out. You should be walking around pumping. I mean, listen, Philadelphia is quick to talk about the NFC East. They said, hey, y'all said that it didn't mean nothing when you won it last year. No, I didn't say that. I said it doesn't mean nothing in the long spectrum of the fact that if you don't win the Super Bowl, winning the NFC East means nothing, because it really doesn't. You got to win the Super Bowl. Now, if we win the Super Bowl, I'm going to sit there and say we won the NFC East, we won the NFC, and then we won the Super Bowl. Then you can brag about it in the offseason. But if you're just a runner-up, all that is a participation trophy, and I don't care about that. I want to win a damn Super Bowl, period. Plain and simple. Joey Piccolella says, Cowboys coming together, bro. I appreciate that, Joey. If this is your first time to I don't know if it is, but if it is, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell for when we go live. Thank you for tuning in tonight. And absolutely. Professional Uncle says it's like internally they're falling apart, one and done indeed. And Bobby Murphy, I already. Bobby is an Eagles fan here that is tuned in, and he's actually become a regular of the show. And I like having Bobby in here. He makes his jabs, but he also takes the jabs just as well. He's kind of like Butterbean. He can take a punch and he can give a punch. I do like that. If any of you remember Butterbean, the big boxer from back in the days, man, Bobby, our local Philadelphia resident or Philadelphia fan, not a punching bag by any means. We do like to make some Philadelphia jokes, but he takes them all in good stride, man, and we like that here with the Cowboys Cave. Again, we don't mind having the haters in here as long as you keep it respectful and you don't start having to call me the names that everybody wants to sit here and call me Vanilla Ice and all this other beat. And then I might have to put you in a Cowboys Cave timeout because I do have that option and I do have that power to put somebody in a timeout here on this YouTube page. It is a thing. Promise you. I've done it before. I'll do it again. Mark Sawyer, Cowboys will do what they do best. Choke. All right, listen, I read all the comments, man. I will read all the comments. Okay. Let's unpack that right quick down there, Mark. I don't know who you're a fan of and who your team is, but when you say that the Cowboys will choke, all right. Let me just tell you right now that since the Cowboys last time that they have won a Super Bowl, literally over half of the league, and I say over half of the league, has a drought longer than the Dallas Cowboys. That includes the San Francisco 49ers into that mix. They are on a longer drought than the Dallas Cowboys. Over half of the league has a longer drought than the Dallas Cowboys. I do not care about playoff wins. I do not care about NFC East titles. I do not care about NFC championship appearances. I only care about Super Bowls. That is the only thing that matters. So for you to sit there and say that the Cowboys choke, listen, well then for that aspect, so does over half of the league. And I'm talking about 18, I believe it's 18 other teams that have just as long, if not longer, of a drought than the Dallas Cowboys. All those teams have also choked. But what you do want as a Dallas Cowboys fan is this Cowboys team to be in a position to be in the playoffs because you know when the Cowboys or you know when an NFL team makes the playoffs, they play these games, anything can happen. Yes, that's right. Anything can happen. Nobody expected those 2007 New York Giants to upset the undefeated Patriots, but yet they did. So I'm just going to tell you right now, you do not sit there and say the Cowboys will choke this year because this year is different from all other years. This year is dependent. This year is dependent from all the other years. It's a different team. It's a different players. It's a different system. Okay. So you can sit there and you can say that the Cowboys choke because yeah, okay. If I sit there and say, you know what, the Detroit Lions are never going to win another Super Bowl, more often than right, I'm probably going to be right. But eventually that might backfire on me. All you want as a team and a fan base is to have that opportunity, and the Cowboys have that opportunity this year as the number 2 seed, as the winner of the NFC. They went out there and they earned it, and we have to play on that field for 60 minutes versus Green Bay. That's week 1, then move on to week next. So sit there and say that we're going to choke all you want. That's a played out narrative. That's just as played out as saying Cowboys fans got to go grab their VHS tapes, okay? It's a played out narrative, but if that's the narrative you want to play, I'm just going to flip it around and I'm going to tell you how I see it, okay? Because it's the truth. Again, I don't know what fan base that you root for, what team that you root for, but would you rather have a chance in the playoffs or would you rather be sitting at home? Okay. And the Cowboys, this is the 3rd year in a row now that we have been 12-5 and that we are in the playoffs and we have a chance to compete for the ultimate goal, which is a Super Bowl title. And that's what you want as a fan. And I feel like every single fan in here is feeling confident. I feel like every single fan is happy with that. All right. We're not going to be happy with just making the playoffs. We want to win a Super Bowl. So I will address the haters when they put the comments in there. You may not like what I got to say though. We said, get them, Kelly. Don't let us win championships, man. I got receipts. Blake says facts. So listen, Cowboys Nation, they know what it is, man. Listen, what do you want us to do? I mean, these haters, they want us quiet. These haters want us with our heads down. These haters want us to sit there and act like, the sky is falling. Oh my God, we're the number 2 seed. We should be scared. We shouldn't show up to the game. Oh my God, we're just gonna choke again. I mean, if that was the case, why even watch football? What's the fun of watching football? Is if all you think your team is gonna do is something negative. I mean, what's the point? It's not fun. It's not healthy. It's not something you want to do. So I'm not with that. I'm not gonna get on that train. I'm not gonna ride that negativity train with anybody, whether it's a Cowboys fan or whether it's a hater. I'm just not gonna do it. Well, Cowboys Nation, listen. The drink is empty. The tank is not empty. The bottle's not empty. I still got plenty more, but I got another show to be on tonight at 8 o'clock, and it's 6 o'clock right now. I do have some kids, man, some teenage boys, man, that are little monsters, and for some reason they think Dad should cook dinner and make them something to eat. Even though I made 2 big, huge pots of beans and bacon last night, I knew it was going to be cold. I wanted something to keep me warm. Beans and bacon to keep you warm because it's a warm meal. But then afterwards, when you're under the covers, it'll also keep you warm because beans being the magical fruit, the more you eat, the more you toot, Dutch oven style. But listen, Cowboys Nation, thank you for tuning in, man. I've had a good time with you guys. It's been almost an hour and 20 minutes now. I appreciate you all tuning in, showing up. For those of you new subscribers, thank you very much for subscribing to the channel. We want to continue to do great things for you guys, with you guys. Again, we're going to have another annual tailgate at AT&T Stadium next year. And listen, any of you Cowboys fans that want to come to a game, if you want to come down there and you want to turn up at AT&T Stadium, listen, we are there for you, man. We provide the ultimate tailgate. It is one of the best experiences, fan experiences, because you get to meet other fans. You may not get to meet a lot of the players because there's not going to be players there. It's going to be guys like me and Mike. But you'll meet a lot of people from Twitter. You'll meet a lot of people here from the YouTube channels. You'll meet a lot of us, and we can chop it up. We can have beers. We can talk about Cowboys football. We can talk about life in general. But it's fun, man. And we love to connect Cowboys Nation, connect us all together, because at the end of the day, it is one big family. And so thank you for each and every one of you, for what you do, for what you contribute, because without you, this show does not have an engine. And without an engine, car don't go nowhere. You guys are the engine. Y'all provide everything for us, and we really, really do appreciate it. So thank y'all for tuning in. We got one more show for you guys before the Green Bay game. We're going to do that Sunday morning. It is at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. So if you're up that early on a Sunday morning, you want to come in, talk a little bit of Cowboys football, we're going to have myself, Mike Tag, and we're going to have Superfan Greg in here to talk a little bit more Cowboys Green Bay before the actual playoff game. Make you take a couple shots. Not maybe, we will. Take a couple of shots. They're early morning shots. They're playoff shots. They're game day shots. Cowboys Nation, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Be safe. Be smart. And as always, how about them Cowboys? And Edgar, I think I know that you are with me on Twitter. Shoot me a DM. I will give you the link to the show. I do not have a link, unfortunately, to post here in the chat. I wish I did. I should have thought about that. If I wasn't drinking the salted caramel, I would have. But get with me, and I will send me a DM, and I'll send you the DM on how to get onto the show tonight and watch that. So, Cowboys Nation, you guys have a great night. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Again, I hope to see all y'all Sunday morning. And again, like I said, as always, how about them Cowboys? Break out them cheese graters, baby, because on Sunday we eat nachos. Y'all have a good weekend. All right.